Welcome back. All right, so just in case you're new watching one of our series here, it's very, very important to unmask your car, your freshly painted car, about, I would say, anywhere from 2 to 4 hours after your paint job. Okay, 2.5 to 3 hours is an ideal time because you want to start unmasking, especially if you're masking up your headlights and your moldings and things like that. You want to start unmasking before it's completely cured. Why? Because if it's completely cured, you really risk the chance of peeling your paint off if your masking tape is very close on certain areas. Alright, so not a lot of people talk about this at all. In fact, I haven't heard any painter, professional painter or DIY painter on YouTube or anywhere talk about this. Okay, so it's very, very important. If you're doing a garage paint job, professional paint job, whatever, okay, it's good practice to unmask your car. If you have masking paper on anywhere of it, okay, doesn't matter if you're doing base coat, clear coat, or single stage enamel like this job here, okay, a couple hours after your paint, okay. Of course, the paint should not be tacky. It should be dry to the touch, like as you're grazing it with the back of your hands. Okay, but if you push it with your finger, of course, it's going to make a fingerprint, right? Because it's still setting up. Okay, so keep that trick in mind. What we did here was we sanded our headlights down with 800 grit, and then we're just shooting 2 coats of clear on it. We're using the Atom X27 spray gun with the Gun Bud Ultra lighting system. You can see how it makes it so much easier to see. Here's the second coat here. My friend Tony here is just whacking it for me with some clear coat. And all you have to do to prep plastic lenses like this is sand it down with 800 grit and put 2 coats of clear on it. Okay, and this will hold up for many, many years to come. And that's how you do it. How you turn dingy headlights to looking like brand new. I've been doing this for about 20 years now. Okay, it's a long hidden secret. Now people are talking about it. I've been doing this before people were even talking about this stuff. Okay, in fact, I was probably one of the first YouTube videos out there sharing this information. And then a lot of creators came out making more videos about this. Okay, so here what we're doing is we're spraying our front grille with Plasti Dip. Okay, now when it comes to spraying Plasti Dip in a can like this, you don't have to actually sand the product down. Okay, especially if you want to peel it off. Okay, for me, I just clean this front grille down and we're just going to spray it with Plasti Dip to give it that flat matte look. And then we're also going to do all the other pieces on the car with Plasti Dip, and those other pieces I ended up sanding down because we had some primer overspray on them. You'll see that in just a bit. And we just sprayed everything with flat black Plasti Dip to just make it look even, because the whole color scheme of this car was to be that, you know, that quicksand color from the Toyota Tacoma that we painted, and then black. So it's just black in this color. So the decals that we do are going to be like a flat black as well. It's just going to look total, you know, black and tan. That's the whole look of the car, and I think it's coming out very, very nice. You can see we're doing the mirrors as well, all the trim, flat black in this Plasti Dip, and I hope you are liking the project so far. Alright, sometimes when spraying Plasti Dip, you're going to get like a big splatter. Like, just because of the nozzle, the way the spray can nozzles are, sometimes they're not the best, right? You're going to get, like, there you go. You can kind of see this big drips right there. So all I do, okay, is just glaze it with your finger, kind of flatten it out, and then just retouch it up as you're painting. So that actually helps it, see? I just flatten it out, and then this stuff actually dries very, very flat and even. It really settles in. Okay, it flows out. So sometimes it might look orange peely while you're painting, but let it dry and it actually fills out and it looks pretty good. Alright, just a tip. So here are the roof rails and some just plastic trim that goes around the car, the windshield wipers and all. Just make sure you clean it. You know, I use Purple Power, whatever, you know, degreaser they sell at like Costco's or whatever. You could use Simple Green. I used to use a product called Oil Eater. They don't really make it anymore. But just a degreaser to take the grime off, you know, the dirt and the grime. And then what I'm doing here is, because we had some overspray on it, was I'm just feathering it out with 400 grit. And then we're going to whack this with our Plasti Dip, all the products. Okay, let it dry good for a few hours. If you want to speed up the process of drying, you could just get an air hose and just blow it out, you know, dry it up quickly and then whack it with your Plasti Dip. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We're just going to wash this down, Plasti Dip it, let it dry, and put it back on the car. So after this part is done, what we're going to be getting into is doing the Raptor liner on the bottom section of the car. Okay, so we're going to mask out our design where we want it, and then we're going to go ahead and sand it and then spray our Raptor liner. So this is me just giving it a couple of coats of Plasti Dip super quickly. Sorry about the camera angle. Sometimes you don't get the best shots with the GoPro on your head, but you get the idea, right? Everything's pretty much painted. Here is the windshield wipers, just giving that a coat as well. Oh, that's the front window trim. Front window trim. Okay, so here we got the car masked up with fine line tape, followed with painter's tape on top of that to give us, you know, a little bit more space to do our masking. But what I'm doing right now is just using a 240 grit dry sand, and we're just scuffing up all the areas where we're going to be getting our Rhino line. So you can see I'm getting very close to that fine line tape there, because we need the Raptor liner to stick onto something. So take your time, sand it, don't damage your fine line tape. Okay, if I were to do this again, I would probably do the Raptor liner first, okay, before painting the car. So basically have the car ready for paint, mask it up with my fine line tape, and tape up the upper section of the car. I would do the Raptor liner on the bottom part, okay, wait 2, 3, 4 days, let that dry good, then mask the Raptor liner, okay, toward the bottom, and then spray the single stage or basic clear coat on top of it. Why do I say this? Because in one area on the front bumper cover, I wasn't able to get good footage of it, but because of the thickness of the Raptor liner, the material spraying it on, it kind of ate up a little bit of my single stage and made it bubble on the bumper cover a little bit. Very little, you know, not super noticeable where it's a big deal. It's actually still fine now. It's, you know, a couple weeks after we painted it. But another option would be to spray it on lightly, or again, do the Raptor liner first, okay, then spray the color, okay. You know, there's no wrong or right way. It's just you do it, you see what works, and it is what it is. So next time I do this, I'll probably do the Raptor liner first, mask it up, and then do the color of the car on top of it. Okay, it's tricky because you got two different materials, two different paints, you know, on a fine line, right? But this actually worked out really well. Okay, so I'm not saying this way didn't work out. It worked out really well. It's just that sometimes when you lay a paint product on very thick, you know, there's a lot of solvent in it and it reacts. Alright, so all we're doing here is just masking up the top of the vehicle. This stuff does have some overspray, so I would recommend putting a sheet of plastic over the top of your vehicle if you're doing the bottom section like this. Because I did get a little bit of dry overspray on the top of my car, but it's not something that is hard to take off. You know, I just washed the car and most of it came off. Some of the more stubborn areas, I used a clay bar to just, you know, wash it off of the car with some soap. Okay, the top section, because all I did was mask up to here. You know, pretty much part of the door going around the car. I didn't mask the full car, the full top of the car up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I recommend, you know, masking the whole thing up if you have the time and if you want to do it. You know. Okay, here we go. So we're spraying the Raptorliner product. I get mine on eBay, pretty cheap, about 160 bucks for a gallon sprayable material. They give you 4 quarts of this with a little quart of hardener that you just add into the bottle and you shake it up and you spray it. Okay, they give you the gun as well. I was having a little pulsing action on the gun. You could kind of see the way it's spraying. It's kind of like pulsing. I don't know if it was because of the gun. It wasn't my air. That's for sure. I remember when I did my Daihatsu over in Texas, it wasn't pulsing like this. You can kind of see it pulsing, but I ended up learning how to spray it, and then it ended up going on pretty good. You can see that, you know, if you're moving too fast, you're going to get that pulse dots. But if you move at the right speed, it actually laid on pretty good. So double check it. It's not really supposed to pulse like this. I think something was wrong with the gun that was supplied, but you know, I did it. It came out good, and I'm not complaining. You know, I'm the type where I don't like to stop. So if I'm spraying it, I'll just try to figure out how to compromise and how to make it work. And I just kept on going. You can see that I put the gun butt light on it because it helped a ton, especially spraying under the wheel wells and under the car. I mean, it was a great light to have. I just snapped it on, and it helped a ton. Seriously. So yeah, here we go. We're just spraying the Raptorliner on it, and as far as coats, just spray on until it covers and until it looks even with you. You know, sometimes it might be tricky because you just don't want to over wet it. So just keep the gun flowing. You know, that's the main thing. Keep the gun flowing. Okay, and then, you know, just use all angles, and you know, this way you can get up and around and between the grills and all that. But it came out really, really nice. Just keep watching. We're almost done here. With the Raptorliner. Same thing with the Raptorliner, okay? You want to peel it off just before it's cured. Okay, so actually I waited about 40 minutes, which was a little too long, I think. You know, I think 30 minutes would have been a good time for this stuff to set up because it sets up really quickly. Okay, so just feel it, check it. So here you go. I'm mixing up a new batch of Raptorliner here. I'm just going to get some, because of the pipe that goes down the liquid pipe here that picks up the materials. It doesn't go all the way down to the bottom, so there's going to be a little extra left over. So I'm just pouring some in to the other bottle here, and then you just tighten it up and then go to town with the product. And I used 3 quarts of product for this whole project. I still have 1 quart left. Not too bad. Okay. So yeah, actually came out really, really nice, and I do like Raptorliner. It's a really good product. So there you go, the finished product. Here I am unmasking. Now be careful, anytime you're unmasking a car, take your time, don't rush it, and pull away from your newly painted area. Okay, pull away from it. And again, don't rush it, go slow. Okay, so just kind of watch how I'm peeling this off. Go slow, especially the fine line tape part, because that's where the real edge of your graphic is, right? On that 1/8 fine line tape. Okay. And I was supposed to have footage of putting the fine line tape on, but somehow the footage was lost. I just don't know where the footage is for that. But if you look in my other videos, especially on the mini truck Daihatsu project that we did, we do have a video series on how to fine line tape. Especially the motorcycle tank lamp projects in VIP, we do have a whole section on fine line taping. Okay, and that's how you do flame graphics or masking out for 2-tone, 3-tone, whatever. That 1/8 fine line tape is a very popular product by 3M that we use all the time. So here we're just kind of unmasking. Take your time slowly. Doesn't look like I had any fine line tape on that rear section, but you can see around the fender well, there's still blue on there, right? That's the fine line tape that we take off slowly. Keep watching because you'll see me take it off. And then some areas you're going to see like a rough edge of the Raptor liner, but that actually came right off as I rubbed it side to side. I just let it sit a little longer, get dried up a little bit more, and then I was able to just rub it right off like a plasti dip. The line came out seamless. It looked really good, flawless, so to say. So you could see some of the fine line tape there on the masking tape. And again, for using, so here's the fine line tape. You could see some rough edges here, right, as I pull off, but that actually, like I said, it comes off. As far as the masking tape, why am I using blue? I like to use the blue painter's tape on top of fresh paint like this, because it doesn't have a great stick to it. Okay, painter's tape doesn't have as good adhesion as like a 3M, the 3M yellow tape or American tape. So when doing graphics, I don't like to use a tape that's very good. I like to use a mediocre tape, and a good tape for that, again, is the painter's tape. Okay, the blue painter's tape you can get at Lowe's or Home Depot. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this. The next series, we're going to be doing the graphics and a little bit of color sanding and buffing to give you an idea of how to buff out single stage paints. And putting on all of our graphics, and that's it for the CRV project. We're gonna have a final walk around video. Hope you like the series. Probably another video or two left in this series, so I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.